Let's move to this. Business for South Africa has entered into talks with the government to resolve the water crisis. The business lobby group hopes to help avert a water crisis that might derail the economy. Now, this intervention comes as Rand Water has issued warnings in Gauteng about a possible day zero. Joining us now is Kganki Matabane, who's the Black Business Council CEO. Mr. Matabane, good to have you on the program this afternoon. Firstly, can you explain the main objectives of this partnership between the private sector and the government regarding the water crisis?
Good afternoon, Tanta, and good afternoon to the viewers. What business is trying to avoid a similar thing that happened with the energy in South Africa, where we let the crisis to go very, very, very deep until we come in with the solution. So now business is saying, let's not wait until there's a serious crisis that is similar to what happened with the Eskom and others. So this is a move to say we see there's a possibility that we may be facing a crisis very, very, very soon. So let's do something and working together with government, let's find solutions that can avert that type of a situation. And you'll also understand that there are various challenges regarding regarding the water. We have, for example, the SOCs that are working very, very well, like Rand Water, which is run by a very competent CEO and competent board. But we do have the municipal water utilities and other municipalities that don't even have utilities. They're running they've got water departments that are not necessarily run by competent people. And then that's where a lot of struggling is basically happening. So the intention, I think, is to say, let's find ways of even bringing competent people to help the municipalities and local authorities to resolve this issue before it becomes too big. So this is like a move by business to say, we've learned from the past, let's not go there with water.
Yeah. Now, a quick disclaimer. Of course, you're speaking to us in your capacity as CEO of the Black Business Council. How's the council in any way contributing to this initiative? And what specific actions would you propose to your members as well?
Yeah, I think from the Black Business Council point of view, and you'll remember that majority of our businesses are operating in local municipalities. And that's where we realize that you find, for example, the person who's running the department that is responsible for water is not adequately qualified, or is not even qualified at all. You find someone who was a teacher for English, for example, being responsible for engineering issues like the water. So we do have capabilities in terms of professionals. For example, we've got the National Society of Engineers, which comprises of engineers who's our member. We've got accountants, lawyers, and others who can go and assist municipalities and capacitate them with the necessary skills to ensure that we don't get where we think we may get if we don't do anything.
Yeah. With this pronouncement of a possible day zero, what would you say are some of the most pressing challenges that you see in indeed addressing the water crisis? And how can businesses effectively tackle them?
Yeah, I think the biggest issue is the infrastructure and skills. So when we look at the infrastructure, some of the infrastructure that is there, for example, to distribute water from Rand Water, has been there for years, and unfortunately it has not been maintained due to various issues, corruption and others. And so it's very, very important that we need to maintain the equipment that we have, infrastructure that we have, so that we don't lose water, because we are losing a lot of water in between Rand Water and the custom, because it goes via the infrastructure of the municipalities. So that is the first thing that needs to be sorted out. But also we need to look at introducing or implementing new infrastructure where there's none. Like in the rural areas, we remember the issue of Kganki, where a lot of billions were spent without any water being available. So it's important that that project needs to proceed. And then also those people who were responsible for that project need to be held responsible. The second thing that I've also already touched a bit on is the skill, where you find that there are not enough capable people to run the municipalities, the portion that is responsible for water. So if someone is not qualified, who doesn't even know what to do, they instead of actually solving the problem, they just leave it because the capability is not there. So we think those are the two most important components that we need to attend to very, very, very urgently to avoid what's going to happen.
As we wrap, let's explore another issue. There's also been a mention for the potential for private investment, especially in water infrastructure. What specific areas do you see as the most viable for business involvement here?
Yeah, as you know, when business gets involved or invests, the business is looking for return on investment. So there's a potential, for example, for triple Ps of public-private partnerships, where business can build infrastructure, dams, and so on, operate, and then transfer to government maybe after 20 years or 25 years. And then it happens with other things, like, for example, it happened with hospitals and so on. So there is that opportunity. But from where we're sitting, we're saying, even when that happens, water provision is very, very important. It should not be privatized. Because, once it gets privatized, the poor people won't be able to afford the prices. We've seen it with many other things, telecoms and others, where big companies are looking at return on investments, and where there's no return, they don't even put infrastructure. But they control the pricing. So it's very important that even though we have involvement by the private sector, we still, all these water utilities, institutions, they remain as part of government because they are providing what is called public good. You don't want to give public good to private sector because private sector will just increase prices as they wish.
Thank you so much for your time. That's Kganki Matabane from the Black Business Council, sharing his insights into the urgent partnership between the private sector and government to indeed address South Africa's water crisis.